Hey guys, Karen for Lucifer, Season 1, Episode 4, Manly Whatnots, and I was worried about this episode, I have to say. You guys know that I was very disappointed by last week's episode. I thought last week's episode had an extremely rushed case, and I felt like it really just didn't really show what I liked about this show. It was a dud. It really was a dud, and, I have to say that this episode, not the case at all, because this was by far the best episode we've had so far. I mean, I really loved this episode. I thought there was some really great stuff here. There still are some small complaints here and there that I will get into, but overall, I did really enjoy this episode. And there was a case in this episode that wasn't the most interesting, but the thing was, the episode was not really about the case. It was mainly about Lucifer and Chloe, and what is their connection? Why is he not, what is going on with her? What is it about Chloe that Lucifer just doesn't understand? And I really feel that from here, the show's gonna get better. I mean, the show's not great yet. It's not great. It has some really great elements to it. It's not a great show, but it's a very good show. I definitely will say that. It's not a great show yet. It's not something that I look forward to every single week, but it's definitely something that I think is gonna get a lot better after this episode. And I think this episode really showed what the show is capable of. But let's get into this episode because I really did enjoy it. Chloe takes a shower and remembers being shot and Lucifer coming to her side. She then remembers meeting George in the asylum and his screaming that Lucifer is the devil and Lucifer shoving the agent through the window, and it's clear that she's starting to put things together. She's definitely thinking about everything that's going on, and Chloe, I don't think, was portrayed as an idiot here. I think she was just portrayed as naive, not wanting to believe it's true because there's a reason why she isn't really believing Lucifer. We get to that here. She hears someone moving downstairs, grabs her gun, goes to investigate, and it's Lucifer, and Chloe's towel falls off. I mean, that's something that Lucifer would do. He's very pervy like that, and she quickly picks it up and demands to know what he's doing there, and Lucifer explains that he came to make breakfast, and and I loved his line when he was like, "Oh, detective, good morning." I thought that was a great line. Chloe orders him out just as Dan arrives with Trixie. She wonders if Lucifer and Chloe had a sleepover, and Chloe hastily insists that they didn't. Trixie leads Lucifer off to see her bird report, and Dan asks Chloe if she's sleeping with Lucifer, and Lucifer, overhearing them, says that she hasn't, and as Dan leaves, he says that he's disappointed in her, and says to stay as far away from him as possible. My only problem is, again, Dan is kind of a dick. I'm not a fan of his character. They need to make him more interesting. This is my main thing with the show. Dan has never been a character I like, okay? I'm not saying I need to drop him from the show. Just for God's sake, make him more interesting, because every episode it's him complaining about something, and I just want to see them do more with him, okay? Yeah, he has hatred for Lucifer. Do something with it. Expand upon it. I mean, in the Wikipedia description for his character, it says Dan is a man who has a deep hatred for Lucifer. We haven't really seen that till this episode, and I really want to see them do more with Dan. Have him start a case against Lucifer or something. Just do something with him that's more interesting than him just, like, yelling at Chloe every episode, because it's just, I'm not a fan of it. So Lucifer arrives at Linda's office, and the scenes between Lucifer and Linda are very minimal, but very good. I definitely really like the scenes here. They didn't really work last week, because Lucifer felt very out of character last week. Like, he didn't want this change to happen, and he didn't really like it, and here it really seems like he does want to accept the change, and he does want to do something about it, and basically, she says that something disturbing has happened to him. He ignores Linda's objection, says that he's shocked that Chloe is rejecting him, and Lucifer finally introduces her patient, George, and Chloe's leaving and finds Dan at her door. He says that he just got a call that there's a case. They review a video of a woman, Lindsay Jolson, driving to LA with her brother, Kevin. She went missing catering a Players Club event and was last seen talking to the founder, Carver Cruz, and basically, Carver refused to say anything, and there's a player seminar and after party, and the department wants Chloe to go in undercover because Lucifer is on the guest list, and it makes sense why she needs him here. And Dan admits that he doesn't want Lucifer spending more time with his ex-wife, but figures that it's their best option. And I know Dan doesn't really think he can do anything, but again, I just want to see more with this. I want to see an actual plot with Dan. Not just have him tell Chloe, "Oh, there's a mission for you, here you go." That's not a character. That's a plot device. That's really all that Dan is right now. Dan is the person that gives her missions. That's really all his character is, and someone that doesn't really like Lucifer. I really want more from him, I have to say. I mean, mean, he's a main character on the show. If he was a recurring character, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but he is the third main character of the show. If you go on Wikipedia, Dan is the third main character. He shows up as the third main character, and I'm not getting that from him. I'm not getting like he is the third main character. To me, he just seems like this guy that gives Chloe missions and then goes on his way. And I don't really like that. I really want more of the character from him, and I don't really feel like we're getting that. So, Linda analyzes Lucifer, who worries that he's losing his charms. Then, basically, she assures him that his charm is still working and suggests that he's afraid that Chloe has power over him, which I very much feel is true. I mean, we know, it seems, Chloe's been the dominant one. In this partnership between Chloe and Lucifer, Chloe has definitely been the dominant one. And that's something that Lucifer doesn't really comprehend because he's the devil. He always has power over everyone, and he can't read her, as we know. He's not able to punish her or compel her or anything, and she says that they give people power and tells Lucifer that he has to take his power back, and Linda says that Lucifer has to get to know Chloe and demystify her by bringing her down to his level. Lucifer agrees and figures that he needs to have sex with her, and of course that's not at all what Linda is talking about, but this is Lucifer we're talking about. He looks at things in that way, and basically the rest of the episode he's trying to seduce Chloe, which does set up some very funny stuff here. So soon, Chloe and Lucifer hit the streets. She explains about the case. Chloe insists that it's work, not a date. He agrees to help because it coincides with his own plan to have sex with her. The detective says that she only called Lucifer in because he's on the guest list for the player club. She tells Lucifer that she will never sleep with him, but he isn't convinced that she's not going to sleep with him because, he thinks that it'll be easy to do. And at the player club, Lucifer goes in, collects his badge, and the number of the name tag girl, he gives it to one of the geek guests, goes in with Chloe. She realizes that he's never been rejected by a woman, and this was really interesting when we found this out. I mean, this is Lucifer. We know he owns this club Lux. We know that he's the devil. He's always been able to, I think, trick women into having sex with him. I mean, we know even Linda has sex with him. I mean, pretty much everyone. Even Maze, I think, has had sex with him. Pretty much everyone Lucifer knows has had sex with him, and Chloe's the first person that is rejecting him, telling him I don't want to do this, and he's not used to it. He doesn't really understand why she's saying no, because like I said, he's not used to it, which is very interesting. So the detective, basically, we then see Lucifer goes in, collects his badge, and they hear Kevin yelling for Carver. Chloe goes over and says that she's got it. When the security officer objects, Lucifer convinces him to find the person he desires most. Lucifer then helpfully tells Kevin that Chloe is an undercover cop, and Kevin says that Carver killed Lindsay, and his sister would never have gone off on her own. Chloe promises to find the person responsible for Lindsay's disappearance, and Lucifer is glad to help punish them, and basically, everyone gathers in the auditorium, and basically, Eye of the Tiger's playing. I love the scene where Chloe's, like, rocking out. It shows that she's not just this hard-ass detective. I mean, she does have this fun side to her, of being the fun girl, and I like seeing that. I like that at times she was the fun girl. I thought that was really fun, and I like seeing that. But as we know, that's kind of who she used to be. She doesn't want to be that anymore, but you do see that she still has that in her, and I like seeing that. So Carver comes out to tell everyone that they are players. He recites the conduct of Kick-Ass Cavemen list, and Lucifer is astonished that the people pay for the education, and Chloe sarcastically says that Lucifer should take notes. He steps up to ask a question right when he's not supposed to, which of course is something that Lucifer would do, ask a question when he's not supposed to. He asks what happens if he has all of them, but a woman doesn't respond, and Carver says that he's wrong. Lucifer points out that Chloe won't have sex with him. Literally right in the audience, he points out that she will not have sex with him. Hilarious scene, let me just say. I mean, Tom Ellis really killed it here. He's great in general. He definitely is, I think, the thing that really makes this show. But here, this scene, probably one of the funniest we've had on the show. I mean, I really love this. And Carver irritably insists that the system works, and Chloe tells Lucifer to sit down. Lucifer has them train the spotlight on Chloe, and he says that Chloe is a cop. Literally expose her cover in front of everyone. I don't know why he'd do that, because he's a dick. That's why. Carver tells Chloe to leave, calls over security, then leaves the stage, and basically they are kicked out, obviously, because of what Lucifer did. But a very funny scene. I enjoyed seeing that, and outside, Chloe calls her lieutenant and said that she has a situation in Lucifer under control. She says she'll figure out a way into the party and tells Lucifer that she's the only one going in. And Lucifer points out that there wouldn't have been a problem if she'd slept with him. And Chloe says that the party is cash only. She tells Lucifer that the after party is at Cold Bar. And Lucifer points out that it's overpriced. If Carver wants cash only, then he shouldn't have the after party there because, he's not going to give him cash only. And basically, Chloe gets an idea, tells Lucifer that she knows a way he can fix it, and Basically, we don't really know what that is. But then we get a very interesting scene because we haven't seen Amenadiel since episode 2. We didn't see him last week. He wasn't in the episode. And I like where this is headed. Again, I'm not a fan of these two characters. I have to say, Maze and Amenadiel, two characters that aren't exactly work. Maze is definitely starting to work for me. I will say that. After this episode, I am really liking Maze. Amenadiel is just, he's not working. Something about him, I don't know if he's just too dark, which is it's obviously not that, because, the devil is the star of the show, but just something about him, I don't know, I don't really feel like he belongs here. I'll get into that. Because at Lux, Maze is closing down the room when Amenadiel appears. He easily ducks her thrown knife and asks if she missed him. Maze refuses to help him, but the angel says that she will help him get Lucifer back to hell one way or the other. And of course, she wants him to go back too because she doesn't understand this radical change in him. It's just very strange to her. And she summons her dagger back to her hand, attacks Amenadiel, but he easily knocks her away and warns that she can't be an angel. Maze attacks him, and he finally pins her to the wall. Honestly, pretty intense scene. I really like this. He insists that they want the same thing. She licks his mouth, and Amenadiel releases her in disgust, and he says that something has fundamentally changed in Lucifer, but Maze figures it's a phase and it will pass. The angel says that she's lying to him and to herself, and he can get Lucifer back to where he belongs if she provides him with a weak spot. Maze refuses and walks off, and like I said, the actor for Amenadiel is just not that great. That's really the thing with his character. It's not so much his character, it's just the actor in general. His delivery of the lines, they just don't work for me. If you got a better actor, then I wouldn't be complaining, but the actor that plays Amenadiel is just not very good. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's very wooden. I think he's acting way too comic booky, and not that Lucifer isn't, but definitely he's acting way too comic booky, but he's also being the straight man. I'm not really a fan of it. He's not really, I think he's having fun with the role, but he's being very stiff. He just feels very stiff in the role, and sometimes it sounds like he's just saying lines on the paper. Just something about Amenadiel, the actor that plays him, is not working for me. And I'm not saying you need to recast this actor, because obviously he's already cast, and I think he can get better. Right now, at least, he's just not that great. And, when an actor's not great, it really does ruin the character. It's hard to, when when you play a character, you want the actor to give a really good performance so you believe they are that character. And I don't really believe that this actor is an angel. I just believe that he's, playing this character. I don't really see Amenadiel right now. Amenadiel, I think, could be a really good character. It's just the actor playing him, it's really underwhelming. That's really the thing that doesn't work with this character. It's just the actor that plays him, like I said. And it's because the rest of the cast is really great. The one that plays Lucifer is really great. Chloe's really great. Maze is really great. Even Dan, who I don't really like, is still a good actor. It's just the guy that plays Amenadiel just not working for me. But I do like where this is headed, that they're gonna try to send Lucifer back to hell. But for whatever reason, Maze does not, want to get him back, and it's very interesting to see, definitely very interesting stuff there. So that night, Chloe arrives at Lucifer's apartment. He's in the next room and says that he called Carver as she requested. Chloe insists it's a professional relationship, and just as a naked Lucifer comes out, he's gonna try to seduce her. She warns it's inappropriate and throws him a towel to put on. He does so and turns to her admiration. She notices the scars on his back, and Lucifer explains that Maze cut his wings off when he told her to, and when Chloe starts to touch the scars, Lucifer grabs her wrist and asks her not to, and she goes to get dressed, explaining that the after party. Now, that was interesting. We found this out, that he had wings, and, now he doesn't, obviously, because he's been, no one knows that he's the devil. And he explains the after party will be at Lux like Chloe wanted, and tells her that she'll need to wear something better to blend in, and they go to this party. Chloe's wearing a dress left by one of his overnight guests. They spot Carver at the bar, and Chloe tells Lucifer that they'll avoid him and see if anyone saw Carver with Lindsay at the last party. That is definitely not what happens here. Well, not Car she rejects, but she does start to hit on this nerd. I mean, this geek starts to hit on her, and Lucifer wonders if his pickup lines work. And Chloe flirts with the geek to see if he was at the party with Lindsay, which was very smart of her, I have to say. I mean, her flirting with him not only made for a very funny scene, but also made a lot of sense, because obviously this is how she can, she can kill two birds with one stone. She can, enlighten this guy and, basically make him happy, but also, and not enlighten, like, have sex. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying make him happy, basically. But also get information on what happened to Lindsay, because that's the main thing here. So he says that he wasn't, and Chloe immediately drops him, but another nerd comes over to flirt with her. Carver spots Chloe and heads out. Lucifer and Chloe go after him. When they close in, Carver draws a gun, orders everyone out of the way. Lucifer offers him a broken back, distracting him long enough for Chloe to grab him from behind. Carver insists that he has to go, saying that people who took Lindsay are going to kill him now, and kill her, I mean. So the trio goes up to Lucifer's apartment, and Carver says that he doesn't know where Lindsay is. Her abductors threaten to kill her if he went to the cops, and Lucifer asks what game Carver's playing, and he says that he just wants Lindsay back because he loves her. Lucifer reminds him that he's built an empire on the objectification of women, but Carver says that he would give anything to get her back. He confirms that he and Lindsay have been together for 4 months, and he kept it very quiet, but it got it out, and Lucifer is astonished that Carver hasn't got Lindsay out of his system out of 4 months, and her kidnapper sent him a photo after the seminar. Chloe realized that the kidnappers were there at the seminar, and Lucifer studies the photo. I will say this was a bit cliche, but again, this episode really wasn't about the case. It was more about Lucifer and Chloe, so the case not being the most interesting thing in the world, I was fine with that. And Lucifer calls the kidnapper, says he was speaking on Carver's behalf. He assures them that he has the money. Chloe reminds him that they need proof of life, but Lucifer realizes that they hung up. He offers to pay the ransom money to impress Chloe and insists that he's going to do it alone, and again, it's clear that he's trying to impress her. He's trying to show that he's not just this, who she thinks he is. And the kidnappers call Carver back, put Lindsay on. She begs him to come get her. Carver insists on going with Lucifer, but she refuses and says she's going with Lucifer. And Chloe and Lucifer drive to the rendezvous in an old processing plant. Chloe figures that something doesn't feel right. And while they wait, I really loved this scene here because we know that Lucifer has told Chloe straight out that he's the devil, but for whatever reason, Chloe's not believed him. And last week I said she came across as an idiot for not doing this, and that she was just being very ignorant. But here, it really makes sense why Chloe isn't really believing him. Because Chloe asks if Lucifer feels pain, if he's immortal and really the devil, and Lucifer says it's more of a nuisance and invites her to try with something sharp. He wonders if Chloe actually believes him, and Chloe says that she believes in good and evil, but not in the fiery damnation thing. She doesn't actually think that there's a devil out there. She knows that there's good and evil people out there, and I'm sure that she does believe in God and everything, but she's no atheist, but she doesn't believe in the devil. She doesn't actually think it's real. And intrigued, Lucifer wonders if he scares her. Chloe claims that he doesn't, and it's clear because she doesn't fear the devil. She doesn't believe in the devil, and that's probably the main reason why Lucifer can't, why he can't, punish her and read her mind, because of the fact that he doesn't scare her. And I think that's very interesting that we found this out, but it really, I think, makes Chloe even more interesting, because now we know what's going on with her. She doesn't believe in God. She has faith, she believes in God and things like that, but she doesn't believe that there's a devil. She doesn't believe in it, and it makes sense. I mean, she wants good stuff in the world, I understand that, but I think it's also just because she personally just doesn't believe in that. I think it definitely makes it very interesting. Probably one of my favorite scenes we got in from her character so far. I really love this. So Carver walks up, then they figure that someone told Carver the address. He goes inside, Lucifer and Chloe follow him. Lucifer walks right in, commenting that he can't be hurt, and locks the door behind him, because obviously he's a devil, he doesn't bleed. And the kidnapper said no police. Once he goes on, Chloe calls her backup, confirms that SWAT is ready, and Carver is looking for the kidnappers when Lucifer finds him. The human explains the kidnappers called him and changed their minds, and insists that Carver came. A masked figure steps out of the shadows and tells him to hand over the cash, refuses to show them Lindsay. Lucifer agrees, and the kidnappers try to grab the bag of money, but the devil refuses to release it. Carver says that he wants to see Lindsay, and Lucifer releases the money, releases the money. Once he has the money, the kidnapper says that he isn't handing Lindsay over. Carver draws his gun, Lucifer turns to face him. Chloe finds her way in, hears a gunshot. Carver goes down, realizes that Lindsay has shot him. She says that she couldn't let Carver shoot Kevin. Kevin removes his mask, and Lucifer explains that Lindsay kidnapped herself, and Carver insists that he loved Lindsay, and Lindsay says that they met 2 years ago and slept together. He never called her, and Lindsay says that she was a virgin. It was a big deal for her. Carver says that he's different now, but Lindsay doesn't believe him. Lucifer says that her punishment doesn't fit Carver's crime, and now Lindsay has changed, and so has Carver. Basically, Kevin tells Lindsay to shoot Lucifer, and Carver admits that he deserves death, and Lucifer disagrees and asks Lindsay why she's any better. And when Kevin runs over, which is true, because, she basically kidnapped herself. There was no kidnapping, and I kind of like that. I think that honestly worked here. And when Kevin runs over, Lucifer clothes himself, advances on Lindsay, and briefly transforming to his true form, she begs him not to kill her. Chloe comes in, tells Lucifer she catches a glimpse of his true self in the reflection in a nearby metal surface, and asks what he is. And Lucifer reminds her that he's been trying to tell her that he's the devil, invites her to shoot him if she doesn't believe him. He yells her to do it. Chloe finally shoots him in the leg, and after a moment, he clutches his leg and realizes that it hurts, and he's bleeding. So what? How is he bleeding? I mean, he's the devil. He's not supposed to bleed. He's immortal. How is he able to bleed? This is something that he's never felt before. He's never felt pain, and this is something that usually doesn't happen. So how this happened, I don't understand this. This is very interesting. So the SWAT team arrives outside. Chloe apologizes to Lucifer. He wonders what's happening to him because again, he's never really felt pain before, and Chloe doesn't think much of it because she doesn't believe him. Again, she doesn't really think that he's the devil. So the police collect Lindsay and Kevin. Chloe finds Lucifer talking to her superior, Lieutenant Olivia Monroe. Lucifer assures Chloe that he told Olivia that Chloe saved the day, and Chloe has no choice but to agree. Olivia apologizes to Lucifer for his getting caught in the crossfire, and he assures her that it was nothing as he turns his charm on her. And once Olivia leaves, Chloe thanks Lucifer for covering for her and offers to drive him home. And obviously, I like that she thanked Lucifer. I thought that was really good. It was a nice, genuine moment, and it shows, I think, that Lucifer does care about her. And basically, Chloe then gets home. Trixie runs to greet her. Her daughter notices the blood on Chloe's shirt, realizes what it is. Chloe admits she shot Lucifer, but he's fine. And Trixie smiles and figures that because Chloe shot Lucifer, she must really like him. And, Chloe, of course, is denying it. She doesn't answer. She gets Trixie to bed. And she doesn't want to admit, of course, that she does like Lucifer. Now, do I think that Chloe does have feelings for Lucifer? There's a part of me that does feel that she might. I'm not really sure, though. I don't really think the show should explore that yet. Like I said, I think they need to take a little while for them to really explore that. So Lucifer then limps into the club. Maze asks what happened to him. He explains that Chloe shot him and he bled. And Maze warns that it's dangerous and it's not possible. She tells him to tell her that they're going home. But Lucifer says that the fun has just begun. He's clearly not going to listen to Amenadiel. And that's how the episode ends. So overall, guys, like I said, really solid episode. Definitely better than last week's. I really did enjoy this episode. There were a lot of really good things in this episode. And there's a lot I do really want to talk about. First of all, let's talk about this whole situation with Chloe and Lucifer. How is Lucifer shot? How is he able to bleed? I don't understand this. What does Chloe have? I mean, clearly there's something about Chloe, just something about her that's different. And I don't know if it's that Lucifer cares about her and actually, sees her as a good person. I don't know if that is what it is, but it's clear that there's something about her that he hasn't really felt. And in the promo, we even see that Maze says that he's starting to feel very vulnerable. And I feel like that's a big part of it, that she has this power over him, and he feels a lot of vulnerability, and that's what gets him to feel pain. And that vulnerability is really what gives him that pain. That is interesting. I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going on there. Chloe, is she going to believe Lucifer? I mean, I understand that her faith and her personal beliefs, she doesn't believe in the devil, but she has to at some point, because Maze is going to get involved at some point, and Amenadiel is going to get involved, and that definitely is going to get very crazy to see what's going on there. I mean, I definitely don't trust Amenadiel, I have to say that. But like I said, Amenadiel, just something about the character is not working for me. But is Maze going to take Amenadiel's advice? It's clear that she's trying to get Lucifer to go home because they need to keep the balance. And I understand Amenadiel's points. Like I said, it's just the actor that's not working for me. It has nothing to do with the character. I think the character is very well written. It's just the actor in general is really not working. He's very wooden, and they need to cast someone else. I'm not a fan of him. I really don't like this character. I really don't like the actor that's playing Amenadiel. I don't really think he's that great. But I think that was definitely very interesting to see if Maze is going to take Amenadiel's offer and if they are going to team up, because obviously she's not interested now, but she was telling Lucifer that they should go back home. So I do think there's a part of me that thinks she is going to listen to Amenadiel, but I do think she has her own agenda as well. So I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going on there. That definitely is going to be very interesting. And then, again, I'm going to say it again. Just give Dan something interesting to do, okay? You don't need to give him the most interesting thing in the world, but just make him a character. Right now, like I said, he's a plot device. He gives information to Chloe, and then he kind of just goes away. He's there for a few scenes, and then he's not really there. And I really want Dan to get his own plot. Again, he's supposed to be the third main character in the show. You go into Wikipedia, he is billed as the third main character, and the third main character should have a lot more to do than what Dan does, because right now, he is a recurring character. He's not a main character. He doesn't really have anything to do, and I really don't think he's one of the leads, while the show says he is. So, for God's sake, give him something to do. It's not very hard to do. Does Chloe have feelings for Lucifer? Trixie, thinks that she does, but of course she is a little girl, but there's a part of me that feels like, yeah, she could, and she might not really understand that yet, and I feel like Lucifer might even have feelings for Chloe, and I think that definitely is very interesting. If Chloe does have feelings for Lucifer, definitely it's going to be interesting to see if they do have something there, because, it's clear that she doesn't want to, but I feel like there's a part of me that feels like she does, and she just doesn't want to deny that she does have these feelings, and that definitely is going to be very very interesting to see if she does have those feelings. I definitely am looking forward to seeing if we explore that further. That's going to be very interesting as well. And the case, like I said, I was fine with her staging the kidnapping. I thought it worked well for the story. It actually made it more interesting, and it was easy to follow. That's the thing about this case. Last week's case was so complicated that I really am not going to complain that this case was so simple, because last week's was so complicated. It really ruined the episode, and it was very hard to follow, I have to say. But overall, guys, I really did enjoy this episode. I thought this was definitely the best episode of the season. Definitely the best episode since the first episode. I definitely will say that. Episodes 2 and 3 have not been the best, but I definitely like the way that we're headed. I think we really got a lot more with Chloe and Lucifer. I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen in the next week's episode. I definitely am back to really enjoying the show, because last week I'm like, I might quit this show, but no, not after this week's episode. This week's episode showed what the show is really capable of, and I definitely do want to stick around. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. Like I said, I really did enjoy this episode. For me, this was the episode where I'm like, I'm going to stick with this show. I think this show is a lot more capable than they have been, and it really showed what they are able to do. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for tonight's episode of The Flash, and which I cannot wait for, because again, we are back in Earth 2. Last week's episode was awesome, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.